Okay, today's module 2, lesson 11. Today we're looking at products of decimals. Product means what? The answer point you get when you multiply. So today we're looking at good old-fashioned long multiplication using decimals. Just good old-fashioned computation. So today you're just going to be practicing your basic multiplication and your basic decimal rules. So we have to remember that when we're adding and subtracting decimals, we need to line up the decimals. When we're multiplying, do not line up the decimals. Okay, but you do have to remember to count your decimals and swing them the decimal over in your product. Okay, I'm not going to block too much, but let's just do one or two practice. So I asked you for your do now to multiply 34 and 62/100 times 12 and 8/10. Those two numbers are your factors. When I'm lining up my factors to multiply, it doesn't matter which factor I put on top or that I list first. No, doesn't matter. Multiplication is commutative. I personally would rather put the longer number on top because then that would mean less rows of multiplication to add. Now, in your notes, you're not given a lot of room. So I gave you graph paper. I highly recommend that either use loose leaf tonight or Google Images, graph paper, and print out a piece of graph paper. On the test on Tuesday, I actually photocopied a piece of graph paper for your division problem to help you keep everything. Because that's the number one mistake. It's just your lines go crooked or you lose your place when you're carrying. So today is just practicing having quality work. So your first row, 6, 9, 6, 7, 2. 34.62 times 2. Your second row should be 0, 4, 2, 9, 6. The last row, well, it's a 1, so it makes it a little bit easier. Now, making sure that everything is lined up nice, neat columns, because that's going to be the number one mistake. So when you add them all up, 6, 3, 1, 3, 4, 4. Is that a reasonable answer? 443,136. No, that's not reasonable. That's the number one question we have to keep asking ourselves. On the test 2 or 3 tests ago, remember there was the turkey that was on sale for it was $50, then the 20% off, and then 10% off, and some of you were charging me $90. How could it be more after the discount? So you have to stop and check your answers to see if it's reasonable. On the quiz that you're getting back today, we took notes over and over that when you're dividing by a number less than a whole, that your quotient should be greater than your dividend. But a lot of you didn't check that. And if you did, you would have gone back and checked your work. So, for example, if you go out to dinner and you check your bill, I realize the cartoons are hard to see, but if you order a sandwich and it's $70, you might want to check the waitress's math. If a computer game is on sale for $2, you might want to think about it and go back and check. Well, that one you might want to be quiet about. No, I'm kidding. We need to be honest. You need to let them know if there was some sort of a mistake. So, what we forgot to, let's see if this answer is reasonable. So 34.62 would round to 35. Now 12.8 we would round to 13. But if I'm standing in a store, to me that's still kind of difficult. So I would even estimate 10 to 35 times 10. So 350. Is 350 close to 44,313? No. My answer's not reasonable. What did I forget to do? Forgot to move the decimal. Well, there are 2 digits after the decimal here, 1 digit after the decimal there. So 2 plus 1 is 3. So I have to move my decimal over 3 places. And then I rewrite my answer so that there's no swing arrows or too many decimals. Now, is this more reasonable? Is 350 in the same range as 443? Yes, they're not that close, but they're both in the hundreds. If it was 4,000 and then I got 350, those would be not reasonable. You could always convert your decimals to fractions and multiply, but that's still a lot of work. Okay? So this was just our basic review of multiplying decimals. Let's look at number 2 in our notes on page 44. Page 44 in our notes. Kevin spends $11.25 on lunch every week during the school year. If there are 35 and a half weeks during the school year, how much does Kevin spend on lunch over the entire school year? Remember, since this is money, you must round it to the nearest penny. When I'm setting up my division, does it matter which factor I put on top? No. So go ahead and multiply this. Well, let's see. If I rounded this to 36 weeks, and it's about $10 a week, we're looking at about $360. But it's definitely going to cost more than that because I took the price and rounded it down. So our total should be greater. So I personally prefer to put the longer number on top because then that's less rows that I have to add together. But remember, the factors can go in either order because multiplication is commutative. So the price of his lunch is $399.38. Because this is money, please stop calling out. You had to round to the nearest penny. That's close. $30 off, but it's in the same family, the 300s family. Please stop talking, because then you're not listening to my explanation. If you have one of these wrong, go back and check each row of multiplication. Now let's try number 3. Gunner's car gets 22.4 miles per gallon, and his gas tank can hold 17 8200 gallons of gas. How many miles can Gunner travel if he uses all of the gas in his tank? So personally, I like to put the longer factor on top because then that's less rows of multiplication that I have to add. So let's see. I'm going to round 17 to 20 and 22 to 20. So we're looking at about 400 miles. So go ahead and do your long multiplication using your graph paper or your loose leaf. Being neat and organized is the key to success. That knowing your times tables. Ready? Voila! Gunner can drive 398 and 168 miles on an entire tank of gas. I hope he doesn't have to go 400 miles because Gunner's not going to make it. He's going to have to push his car the last 9/10 of a mile. Okay.
Just get more gas.
Now for number 4, I actually changed. So let's take a peek at number 4. Now, please listen. This is important. Oops. There we go. Now, for number 4, I changed it because, listen to my words first and then we'll read it. The reason I changed it is because number 3 on your homework. So if you want to quickly turn to the problem set and circle number 3 or highlight number 3, Number 3 is a little bit different. And since you have a test coming up, I thought it might be a good idea to bring your attention to number 3. Hint, hint. And why I want to practice one with you now, hint, hint. So turn back to page 44, and let's look at number 4. Anything that's in red on the board, you can change and add to what's in your notes. So what you have in your notes, I'm going to read what you have first. So look at page 44. What you have is, the principal of East High School wants to buy a new cover for the sand pit used in the long jump competition. He measured the sand pit and found that the length is 29 and 2/10 feet and the width is 9 and 8/10 feet. What will the area of the new cover be? I wasn't wearing my glasses. Sorry about that. Good morning.
Whoa, it's hot in here.
And we opened the windows too.
I'm just gonna
Did
sit
everybody
here.
know Mrs. Babino? Say good morning.
Good morning. Was I in this class?
No, you were here
Okay,
later.
so you wouldn't have seen me, guys. Sorry.
Well, yes.
Why isn't there a desk over there?
That's something we discuss at the end of class, okay? Let's look at why and how I changed number 4. So, number 4, what I changed it to, so anything that I haven't read, you can edit in your notes. So, the principal of East High School wants to extend the cover for the sand pit. So, that means he already has the cover, and he's going to make it a little bit bigger. It's currently 4 square feet. So that sentence that's read, change that in your notes. Wait, what? So, the original equation said they're buying a cover that was 9 and 8/10 feet by 29 and 2/10 feet. That's what the original equation was asking you. What is the area? Right? So what would we do? Right, we would multiply our length and width and find the area. But I changed it because number 3 on your homework, like you just circled, isn't like one we did in class. So I changed number 4 so you don't go home and look at number 3 and go, what? And start to panic. Or so when you take your test on Tuesday and you see one of the questions, you don't go, what? And start to panic. Right, so 3. So I changed it, so now he currently has a cover on the jump pit, sand pit, jump pit. So the current cover is 4 square feet. So add that sentence to your notes, Kevin. That's what we were doing. Okay, good, because that's the part where you looked, you gave me the face. Okay. So the 29 and 2/10 feet and the width is 9 8/10 for the extension. That's the measurement of the extension. Colin, you write this down, buddy? I know you don't feel well. So, what will the total area of the cover be? So in red I wrote total, so change the word total in your notes. How am I going to solve that? And if you want to draw the picture to help you, how would I solve that? We have one that's 4 square feet. Then we're adding on an extension. So how would I go about solving that one? The picture might help. I like pictures. Visualizing can help.
Wait.
What did you just say?
Wait.
Because I'm amazing? I think that's what I heard. No?
I didn't say
Are those the
that.
voices in my head again? I think I heard that.
You said that.
Matt, you said that? Smart boy. Okay. Even if you didn't say it, he's smart enough to own up to it. Okay, so Matt. Are you as amazing as me? How would we go about solving? Oh, yes, you are. All right, but back to this. How would we solve this? If we already have 4 square feet and we're adding on an extension, and I wanted to find the total, what would I have to do?
So you would multiply 2 and 9, and 2 and 9, 10, 2 10.
29, and very good.
And 9 and 8 tenths.
Very good.
And then we add it by 4 feet.
Okay, I would take my product and then add 4 feet to that to get my total. So this would be 2 steps. Dude, you can handle it. You can handle adding 4. So go ahead and try it.